Hey guys, and welcome to episode 7 of Live with Lewis. Here I have Shaun Pope, Republican candidate for Magistrate District 2. Roll the intro. Hey Shaun, how are you?
I'm doing good, bud.
Doing good.
I appreciate you doing this for me.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
This is good. This is good stuff.
So first question, what made you want to run for magistrate?
For magistrate, well, so with being a local business owner, I've always used, the thinking that you need to take care of the community that you're in. So I've started noticing a lot of growth coming in the county. More I've gotten into politics and watching the fiscal court. I just felt the calling that said, hey, I've got things to offer to the county in a positive way. And I have a different lifestyle as far as where I'm from originally,
Right.
and what I can bring to the table. And I think we can move Round County forward doing this.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
well, I have a question. I'm sure a bunch of my viewers have the same question.
Sure.
What does the magistrate do?
So to me, your magistrate is, and I might be a special breed, but to me, a magistrate is your liaison between the people of your district and the fiscal court.
Okay.
As well as we drive around, make sure if there's any complaints on roads or ditches, anything that the citizen of that district has a question on, you're the go-to guy.
Okay.
And let's say, as far as the fiscal court side of things, this is where we get to vote on property taxes, who the county hires. We vote on any kind of projects that are coming in. And that's where the big difference comes in is who's making the decisions and how are we voting on things like this. And without reaching out and getting the community's input, you're just letting whoever in there run and vote how they want to. And so I'm big on transparency. So I want to know what the feedback is from the district when these issues come up, and I'll make sure that I listen to everybody and vote for Round County taxpayer citizens first. And second, is it going to protect the county, or are we going to move Round County forward?
So, right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I never knew. I mean, I knew we had magistrates, but I didn't know. I always asked the question, and we was like, well, do roads. Like, well, they have to do more than that.
Well, a lot of people don't even know they have a magistrate.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize in the city, there's parts of the city are divided with the county. So your district. So even city residents have a voice at the county level. Really? And we're the voice. And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
When I'm out campaigning, they're like, well, what's a magistrate? I didn't know we had a magistrate.
Right.
So we just got to get the word out there and let people know that, as a taxpayer, you do have a voice at the fiscal court.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. That's cool. So I watched the forum and I saw that you were asked a question. I got my notes here.
All right.
I'm going to read directly from my notes.
Okay.
So don't pick any fun. At the forum, you was asked this question: do you want to go? Wow.
Hey, that's how my nerves were at the forum.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go any more? Oh, sorry. Do you want to go any more on it? That's what I have put on.
I got you. Yeah.
Are there any other needs that need to be addressed by the Round County Fiscal Court that you can see?
Well, that's a good question. And when we have 2 minutes to answer, and then you've got everybody looking at you, you're on Facebook Live, so a lot of things will drift out of your head there. But I can say that my opponent thinks that everything's fine and dandy and no changes need to be made, which to me, that's far from the truth. There's always room for improvement, no matter what it is. But a couple of things we can touch on is maybe a little bit better oversight.
What do you mean by oversight?
Well, so in my business or my company, what I have a lot of contractors that I work with. And I also have a lot of vendors. Well, one thing that's been driven is whenever you do business or you're writing checks to companies, I always check. We always have to have our paperwork. Do they have, insurance before I send them out to job sites? So are they actual legal business in the eyes of Kentucky State?
Right.
And workers' comp, all these things and these are just fail safe. So when I did an open request, I open request the budget and I started going through the budget, and we have a lot of vendors that the county pays as a 1099.
Yeah.
And I just pick a couple, just like I do with my business. And I found one, it's called Round County or Round Properties Inc. And this business was established back in 1972. And as I was going through the budget from 2021, 21, 22, the county had paid them. I think one year it was like 150,000. The next year it was 174,000. Well, and of course, what I'm used to doing is I'll go on a Kentucky State org, and I'll just verify that the business is legit and it's in good standings. And lo and behold, this business actually was dissolved back in April of 2020.
Really?
So it's like, as far as the county fiscal court, I look at it as a business. And if we're writing checks to businesses and these businesses aren't even recognized by the state anymore, or they're dissolved, that's just bad business practice.
Right.
And, things like that. So oversight is what we can work on. We can slow our voting down and actually think about things before we cast a vote. And they'll say they get their packets a week before and that, they've got a good idea of what they're going to vote on. But if you really stop and look at it, everybody votes yes. And hardly anybody ever asks questions. So
it's just a lot easier to say yes.
I'm not gonna, and I'm one to ask questions. If I've got a vendor coming at me saying, and they're trying to invoice me or they're trying to push a new product on me, I'm gonna ask them questions.
Right.
What's your warranty? What's it's made out of? What's the durability? If I'm going to pass this on to a customer, I want to make sure that customer gets the best product and the best install. So as far as a fiscal court,
I think it kind of works the same way.
It does. It works the same way. And when you see a vote go in and it takes less than 2 minutes, you start thinking, did they really give that thought into it?
Yeah.
Big thing for Round County's trash, waste management. It's a big hot topic.
That's a big thing in our household. Let me just say.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, people are talking, or we were supposed to have cans delivered, waste management cans delivered last year. And of course, everything's back ordered. And I get in my industry, it's the same thing. Product might be taking 6 months now to get in.
Right.
And I understand that. But as far as the fiscal court side is, we sign a contract with Waste Management, and just like any other contract, if you can't fulfill that contract, then amend it. Right? Amend it, make changes until you can actually fulfill that contract. So, trash company was picking up extra cans of trash, and I think everybody got a letter back in October saying, October 1st, whatever fits in that can is what we're taking. Anything else, no.
Yeah, and they're sticking to it.
They're sticking to it.
They're sticking to it. They are. I had to put my can inside the can before they would take it.
Oh, do you not have one with a bar and all that?
I do now.
You do now?
Yeah, I do now. And I called them and I said, hey, I got a can and I don't know why. I didn't even know why I got the can. No one told me. I just dropped them off.
Exactly. And the fiscal court's been on Waste Management. I'm not going to take that from them. Yeah. They've been going after them pretty good. But again, if you can't fulfill your contract, then amend it. Yeah. Right. Make it worthwhile for the people, not for Waste Management. I get just like a homeowner would come at me. Hey, you told me X amount of time,
it's taking longer now.
It's taking longer. So you're going to, as far as a business owner, I'm going to do everything I can to make that person happy till we get that product in, and just be upfront with them. Hey, I'll have my office call. Hey, your ETA was today or next week. We reached out to the vendor. Looks like it's another week or two. And as long as you keep communication, that goes a long way. Communication is key.
Yeah. So, I understand that. I understand that from this side of things.
Yeah.
If I would, like I said, I didn't know why I got them. I just randomly showed up.
Well, and the question too is, okay, if you have a big family, you get a second can. How much is that can? Well, it's $8 from what I understand. But in the last meeting, they were talking about, well, we charge by volume. So it's just a lot of inconsistency. And it's like, okay, so if I get a second can, am I being charged $8 a month if I use it one time? If I use it 0 times, are you charging me by the volume? And again, the county got us into this agreement with Waste Management,
Yeah.
and that's really all we have,
Right.
other than some small independent companies out there, which would be good time for them to to take advantage of this situation here. But and a lot of other people don't realize that, you know, our landfill's been taking trash from Lexington and Georgetown for over a year now. So if you're out in the 801 area and you see these big red semis coming in 5 at a time, so the question to me is, what's going to happen when the landfill gets full? I've heard 2-3 years. Is our bill going to go up more? You know, now we got to pay a transport fee to take it from here to maybe Irvin or Owensville. So it's, you know, I didn't hear about us taking trash from Lexington or, and the only reason why I know is a year ago when my guys were taking our debris up there, we saw this big contraption that dumping these big semis, and we had to ask, and that's what it is. So we're taking all this trash in now. Is the county actually getting any kickback? You know, because we're impacting that.
Correct.
So it's just transparency. Transparency.
Right.
So.
And if anybody has any questions, they can come to you.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Reach out to your magistrates. You know, ask them these questions. They should have the answer for you.
Yeah.
So,
okay. That's awesome. That's sweet.
Yep.
So I heard that the person's running against you. You guys are kind of family.
Yep. So Mr. Glover is my wife's, I believe, second cousin, and you know, I'm not getting a Christmas card this year, I don't think. So, but we've been court. You know, I haven't spoke to him before I put in. We haven't really spoke throughout the race. And personally, I that's how I am. If I'm running for something, I don't want personal feelings to get involved with it.
Right.
And I hate that I'm running against him personally. We're in the same district.
Right.
Because, you know, he's been a fire chief. He's been a great to the community. But, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, the reasons why I'm running, one of them is Round County's got a lot of growth coming into it. And I talked about this at the forum. You know, I'm originally from Kissimmee, Florida. And, you know, we were relatively just a cattle county. We had orange groves and cattle fields, and of course Disney World. But you know, in the 90s we had 50,000 people, and in less than 10 years it went up to 100,000. And
so you've seen growth.
And in 2008 we had 198,000. So I've seen the growth. I went through high school during that kind of growth. So when you got 30 plus kids in a classroom, you really think you're learning anything?
Right.
And then on top of that, they had to start bringing portable buildings in. And that's where a lot of the classrooms were. And on top of that, every year your property tax goes up, your school tax goes up, library, diminished sheriff's department, because every time there's a house that's built, that means there's a family that comes in. That means that's more strain on your school system. And it just carries on. So, and I was actually part of that, you know, down in Florida. I had a new construction company from 03 to 08. And I can tell you, when we were in the height of the building, I had 3 or 4 crews. We were doing windows and doors. Each crew was doing 3 houses a day installing. And I mean, we never stopped. And when you're young, you don't think about the impact that you're doing to your community. And, you know, I've got some age on me now, and I understand it now. But that's, you know, as far as why I'm running. So when I say like life experiences, I've lived it.
Right.
You know, I've watched my property taxes go up. I've watched the county put in a road or a new strip mall and watch the other side of town die because of lack placement, or just not thinking about it. They've got one goal. I want to grow the county. Right. We want to grow the county, but we want to do it in a sensible way.
Right.
We don't want to hurt, let's say, the other side of the county because we put this here. So it just takes a little bit of thinking when we do things like this. And there's ways that we can make that kind of growth an actual revenue and not a tax burden. So, and those are the ideas and the things that I can bring because I was part of that. So when Daryl, you know, Daryl's from Round County, born and raised here, but he's never seen that. Right. And I get that he's a fire chief and he saved lives and he's done great for the community. And I can't take that from him. And like I said, I wish I wasn't running against him.
Yeah.
I'd rather be right along with him. But here we are. I'm in the same district, and it's time that we do something with the growth that's coming in, because we're on the cusp of what Georgetown is doing, and Georgetown's booming. I mean, they are building subdivisions left and right, and we're not far from behind them. So that's something that we can get in front of right now.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you got a pretty good focus.
I got a passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I tell people my love for the county is not born, it's acquired.
Yeah.
So I love this county, and I don't want to see it go the way my county went.
Yeah.
And if my friends are listening, or they see this, a lot of them left, Kissimmee, Osceola. A lot of them are still down there, and they're hating it.
Yeah.
It's so crowded, and what used to take 15 minutes to get to another town takes about an hour now. So
wow,
it's yep.
Wow. so let's jump off the whole campaign thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So are you married?
Yes, I'm married to Dara Lewis, and her mom and dad. That's Daryl and Barb Lewis, and late Jeannie Miller was her mom. Yeah. So, and then Chad Lewis was her brother. So, and then of course my family is Bill and Lisa Justice, and they live actually down in Cosby, which is Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and my sister's down there as well. So,
that's awesome.
Yep.
So what part of the county do you live in?
So I live in Lower Farmers. That'd be the Ellington Loop area, just past App Harvest. So I get to see the growth. Yeah. We're booming out at 801, and we've got a big road project fixing to come in, which it's good that we have it, but it's a sore subject, because we're actually losing homes out there. We're losing businesses, and again, we go back to that transparency part. But county should come out to us, talk to us first before they fast tracked it and got the state rolling. But well, we're not getting on the campaign thing again. So,
yeah. So you said you grew up, was it Florida?
Yep. Osceola County.
Osceola County. So what's it like?
Osceola County?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we used to be orange groves and cattle field. We were known as the cattle capital of Florida. We had rodeo day off for school, if that says anything. Yeah. So, but we used to do festivals down there where all the cattle, all the ranchers would actually open up their pastures, and they would do a cattle drive from Kissimmee, Florida, and it would cut all the way up the state and go over to Texas. That used to be the old route.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Osceola County, I loved growing up there. But that was in the 80s and 90s, so it was a little different times back then. But yeah.
So you obviously went to high school there? You went all through school?
Yeah, attended Osceola High School. I chose not to go to a college, and I had chances to go on sports.
Yeah.
And, I'm a big advocate for trade schools. Mm-hmm. So I went to a trade school, which was Nashville Auto Diesel College. And, coming right out of that, I was offered to go work on the rigs out on the coast.
Yeah.
And luckily my mom stepped in and said, no, you're not doing that. Yeah. And but I came back. I worked for a Ford dealership, and I moved through the ranks. I was one of the youngest Ford master techs, so I worked with them, and then I moved up to the diesel side of things, and was offered another position at a different dealership, and was making pretty good money at it for a young man. Wow. Working flat rate. And I got into construction. You always got a buddy. Yeah. And my buddy says, hey, you want to make some real money? I said, well, yeah. So he actually got me into construction, and, we had a deal. I worked for him for a year. He shows me the ropes, and I worked for him, and that was kind of our trade-off. So, but after that year, I had my money saved up. I bought my equipment, and I can remember my first day being a business owner. I didn't have no jobs lined up, and I had I had one employee in the truck, so I had no income, and I had expenses riding with me. And we drove around. We had every window dealer, builder. I mean, I showed up with my rig, parked right out front, walked in there like I knew what I was talking about. Yeah. And, so that was good times for being a first time, business owner.
Yeah,
going through that kind of stuff.
So obviously you've done that ever since, the construction
Yep.
side of things.
Yep. I've had 2 startup companies. One we closed down in 2008 when the housing market crashed in
Yeah.
Florida. And then, of course, that's where I met my wife, was down in Florida. So she brought me back to Kentucky. And actually, Pella Window and Doors found out I was coming to Kentucky. So they offered me a pretty good job over in Louisville.
Yeah.
So we actually lived in Shelby County from 08 to 2014. And then, Dara's, as many times as I kept coming to Moorhead, I kept saying, I really love Moorhead, and that's where her family's from and friends, and that means a big deal to her. And so we moved to Round County in 2014, and then I opened SHR. I brought with me, so 2015 is when we actually moved here, but I moved out Pleasant Valley, and then
Really, that's where I worked.
Pleasant Valley. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. So
now I ask everyone this question.
Sure.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be and why?
Live anywhere?
Live anywhere in the world.
Oh, man, I'm pretty satisfied here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really am. I've lived in Florida. Florida's a great place to visit.
Yeah.
Vacation, yeah. But I don't know. It's something about the seasons. It's something about the people here. We were just talking about this the other day. I was at Walmart and saw a funeral procession going through, and I love that people still pull over. We used to have that ideology. Our culture used to be like that down home, and anymore it's like there's no respect. But here there's still respect. People still wave at you.
Yeah.
You still have that small town feel, even though it's a college town. No, I love it here. Yeah. I don't think I'd move anywhere else. I think this is it.
Yeah. We thought about moving, but we don't.
Yeah. Well,
it's hard to move away. I mean, you know everybody. You can go to the grocery store and you can't get out of there for 15 minutes and talking to somebody. You know what I mean?
Well, I will say, if you're young and you want to spread your wings, spread them. Go fly. I mean, go see the world. Do your thing. It's just like it comes back to trade school. Did I want to tie myself down to a college?
Yeah.
And they preached college. In the 80s and 90s, you want to grow up to be a lawyer. You want to be a doctor. You got to be that manager. But when it comes down to it, a trade, you can really make some money and grow a really good business as being a tradesman. So, but you never know until you try it. And all I can say is, as being a business owner, the number one thing when you start a new business is have a good business plan lined out, and don't limit yourself on revenue. And that comes back to the county. We have a couple of things that we make revenue on.
Yeah.
And the more lines of revenue you have, the more successful you're going to be. And that's even in business world. So when I opened up Southern Home Renovations, we strictly did windows and doors.
Yeah.
And, I had to make the decision, do we want to expand? And of course, my wife liked when I was coming home at 3:00 and, I go out and do my job, come home. And, in order to do things for the community, I wanted to expand my business. So we started adding roofing, and we started adding categories. So now we have like 8 categories we offer.
Really?
From generators to HVAC, anything exterior on your home. And by adding those lines of revenue, that only, makes you more successful. Because if one category slacks off, you've got something that's going to carry you on. And just like the county, as far as the county goes, we rely on property taxes and sales tax. We've just added alcohol. We've got the jail, we've got EMS. So, and there's a couple other things there, but and the county has done great on doing things these past couple of years, but it's been on grant money.
Yeah.
So eventually grant money's not going to be there, and we're going to have to run on that revenue and
self-sustain kind of.
Yeah. So it's just making good business choices and good business practices. And it goes back to checking vendors, making sure they're good with the state. Is it a make or break? Well, that business can go in and re-up with the state and get back on order, but we should catch that.
Yeah.
It's just good business practice.
Yeah.
So
that's makes sense.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Common sense. Yeah.
So whenever you're not working, whenever you're not campaigning, what else do you do? What's some of your other hobbies?
I'm down at the Cave Run Lake.
Really?
Yeah. We've got a little houseboat out there, and then got a little pontoon, but and we got a little bit of property, we'll go walk around, but we're outside people,
Yeah.
or we're out in the community, doing things here and there. And a lot of times, so a lot of people don't know that I own that company,
Yeah.
and I like it that way. I was never one to seek recognition.
Right.
And even when we do things for the community, I never really put it out there. But when you get into politics, I guess you want people to know that. And
Yeah.
so I had to, I don't know, swallow my pride a little bit and tell
Yeah.
people, yeah, so we'll sponsor families for Christmas. We did
Yeah.
that one year. There's 3 families we sponsored, and we made donations to Stars this year, or the high school or the middle school.
Yeah.
But that, again, that comes back down to, I think if you have a business in a community, you should support that,
Yeah.
and support your other businesses with you. So
Yeah.
I'm a big small business guy. So there's a bar that got closed down. A lot of people know it. I won't mention the name out of respect,
Yeah.
but it is downtown. But they were, during COVID, the restaurant industry got pummeled. They had
Yeah.
no help, no support. And the guy that owns it, one of them, he used to work for us.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him, and and we offered him some money just to help pay his people through the week,
Yeah.
until legislation passed something that we could get some help to him,
Yeah.
through the state. So, but it's small businesses taking care of other small businesses. That's how we're gonna make the county better, But
And that's what this podcast is all about. I reach
right.
out to small business owners, and
Yeah.
try
Well,
to
when
get
you
them to
when you
spread
asked
the
me
word.
about it, I was like, shoot, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but what better way
Yeah.
to get your name out there and let people know? I'm going back to the campaign thing. Um, when I first started campaigning, I went up to all the small businesses that I could
Yeah.
during that time, and one person brought up a good suggestion, and I didn't even really think about it. Was, you ever notice on the exits you see businesses,
Yeah.
their signs and stuff? Well, if you ever look into that, it's expensive, and for
Yeah.
a small business, that's a big chunk out of your revenue. It'd be nice to see if we could do something at the county level, where if you get off at the exit, there's a county sign.
Yeah. Without the
So
small-
like
yeah.
on 801, Linda's Arts and Crafts,
Yeah.
turn left, or Prestige Boat Storage,
Yeah.
turn right. So it'd be nice to see if we could do something like that. I think that would really help the local small businesses
Yeah.
here. And I thought that was a great suggestion.
That is really
So I'd like to see something like that come about.
That is sweet.
And not everybody's a brick and mortar company. So
Right.
if we've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and once in a while they'll post something that we do, but if we can get them doing a little bit more posts about that, or even at the county level, if we had a page that listed all the county businesses,
Like what they did and stuff like that.
yeah,
And
just
how to
an
reach them.
information,
Yeah.
at a county level, not
Yeah.
the and I tell you, I found it a little strange that we don't actually charge for business license in Round County anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can tell you, I'm a GC for for Fayette. It's $200 something.
Yeah.
Little Carlisle, they charge me $15 to have a business license. Now the county has a business occupational license, but there's no charge there. But to me, as far as the county goes, I'd like to know what businesses are actually coming in, and if we don't have anything saying,
Hey, I'm a business. I mean,
yeah, if you don't have a license, then anybody can come in here and, so to me, it's one more step of protection for homeowners around
Yeah.
here. And then, we would have the right to refuse a business license if there's complaints on that
Yeah.
company, So, I think that we should probably bring that back. And again, a revenue off a business license, that goes to pay for the financial director, for his salary,
Yeah.
instead of coming out of the general fund or wherever it does come out of. So again, it just falls back to good business practice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't like I said, like I had Christy Perkins on here, or
Christy Bailey.
Christy Bailey, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know all about the county. Like, there's so much to this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole lot
Yeah.
more than what you actually realize.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
believe me, I'm learning quick. I've always dabbled in politics, and I told my wife knew I'd get into it, and I don't like using the word politics. I just
Yeah.
want to do good for the county. But
Right.
And I always joke when my beard gets fully gray or something, then I would get into it. But I don't know, something just kept saying, you got to go for it. And then I was asked by a couple members of the site, peers here you should really go for it, see if you can make a change. And so I threw my hat in the ring, and I hate it that, it's against Daryl, but, but I mean, I tell you a positive thing. There was a fiscal court meeting last Tuesday. We had 43 viewers.
Really?
On average, there's like maybe 12.
Oh, well,
I mean, whatever we're doing, we're bringing awareness, and the more people that get involved, that means more voices are going to be heard at a county level, decision wise. So, and that's what we need. That's, at the end of the day, if I don't get in, that's fine.
But maybe something you have said might click in somebody else's head.
Right. Yeah. And there's the judge used my word debacle. If anybody's watching it, but I do a lot of research when things are being passed, and I read a lot, and so when I make a decision, it's informed,
right?
What I believe is factual based on the facts that I'm given. And I reached out to the finance director or the licensing director of ABC for the state, and I reviewed the contract with our ABC director, and he's paid as a contractor.
Yeah.
I kind of have a little issue with that, not with Mike Mack, and that's me and Mike are great friends, and we've talked about this. And I'm like, Mike, I just anytime that an employer or a business has control over someone, whether it's setting hours, giving directions, telling them where to work or when or how to do it, that makes them an employee.
Yeah.
Not a contractor. Contractor, basically, I have a contract with you. I can work within my scope, and that's all you have. I like my contractors. I can't tell them you need to be at this house at this certain time, and this is how I want it done. I have to have faith in them that they can do their job. And so we'll schedule with them, then we schedule with the homeowner, but we're going off their schedule. And it takes, for a contractor like that, it takes out all the office side of things. They just have to worry about, hey, I've got a job here, I got to do my job. We make sure it's right, and we go on about our business. And I've kept my contractors for 6-7 years now. Take care of the guys that work for you, and they'll stay with you. Treat them with respect. But going back to the ABC thing, so I reached out to the state and I said, hey, can we use a contractor to hold this office? And the email's out there, it's on my Facebook. And, she said, it's prohibited practice, So they were in a fiscal court. They had enough time to call. And did they get a real answer? No, but it was recommended for them not to. Right.
Okay.
And so then, they reached out to the ABC commission too when this all first started, and they wanted to use the sheriff's department. And ABC said, we don't recommend that neither, because as an ABC administrator, you don't have to have a warrant to search anything. You can just roll up. I'm here, I'm inspecting. So if you can imagine the legality of that, if a sheriff did that, it wouldn't go well in court, but they took that recommendation, but they ignored this one. So is it an easy fix? Yeah, make Mike an employee and we're done, but, and so again, I just, and me asking these questions, even though at a county level, they're still going to use him until Frankfurt says otherwise. But by me raising that question, it's making Frankfurt work. That means our legislators are going to have to do some work, and maybe they can clarify the KRS.
Right.
And that's how you get things done. Just question. I'm not trying to be a nuisance, but if it doesn't feel right or sound right, ask a question. Doesn't hurt anything. So that's how we make change. Yeah. Yep.
I never thought of it like that. That makes sense.
Yep.
I always get told you're asking too many questions. I'm like, well, maybe I am.
Well, I mean, but you're learning, right? You learn from it, and you're making them think about it. And if they don't know, guess what? They've got to do research now, and now you know. Yeah. Right. So, and that's how we move things forward. So
that's sweet.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to kind of talk about?
No, I would just say, as far as as small businesses, we need to lean on each other in times of needs. And And sometimes we need the community to help us out as far as just support small business. We are the backbone of the county. We help generate revenue. And as far as the campaign goes, I just ask that just give me a thought, consideration, and just know that I'm in it for the right reasons. And if when I do vote, I'm representing District 2, but we also vote for the whole county.
Yeah.
And when I make a vote, it's going to be based on, is it good for Brown County citizens, and is it good for the county, and is it good for the long haul, not just the short term. And some decisions that have been made are short term, and not for the long haul. So yeah, just know that I'm going to do my research before I cast my vote. So
yeah, we need somebody like that, man.
Yeah. So
I like, one more time, I didn't know how it worked.
Yeah.
I didn't know that everybody, I assumed that they all voted and stuff like that, but I never knew for sure.
Yeah.
How can they find out more information about you?
So I have a Facebook page. It's Shaun Pope for Magistrate District 2. Of course, you can reach me at my cell, 606-776-3099. Ask me anything you want, my position on things. And of course, I've got my business down in Farmers. Come on, stop by, see me. And I don't care one bit to have a good conversation. So, yeah.
Yeah, you came and talked to me. So if you'll talk to me, you'll talk to pretty much.
Well, listen, I think what you're doing here is awesome.
Thank you.
It really is. And I wish the best of luck to your podcast, because just don't stop. Keep working at it.
Yeah.
Just like I helped I have my office administrator, Paige.
Yeah.
She started her business, and it's based out of Mount Sterling, and it's called Dreamers.
Yeah.
And she comes to me and she'll ask me questions, profit margins and whatnot, and I'll never stop to hesitate to help her with her business. And I helped her set up her LLC, and so and now she's navigated. She sees the things that I go through for your taxes and whatnot. So, and but no, I'm always here to help. So absolutely.
All righty. Thank you. Guys, if you have any questions, about anything with the campaign or anything like that, just give them a call. And November 8th, right?
November 8th. Vote Pope.
Yeah, vote Pope. Yeah. make sure you guys get out there and vote.
Just vote. Yes.
If you don't vote, then I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Let your voices be heard.
Right. Just guys, make sure you like and subscribe, and just comment if you know of anybody that wants to come on or anything like that. Thank you.